Tim, David, great to talk to you. So let's start with the fact that you and Maggie have been working with Wycliffe Bible translators for quite a while now. So just can you give us a quick update on what Wycliffe Bible translators is all about and what's kept you and Maggie involved in it for such a long time?
Right, yes. So we've been actually working for Wycliffe Bible translators for 25 years now. We recently received some long service certificates.
Wow.
Wycliffe Bible Translators is an international organization. Well, it's an organization of international organizations.
Right.
And Wycliffe Bible Translators in the UK has the aim of wanting to hear God speak to everyone in their own language as they engage with the Bible in their own language. That didn't come out very well, but you get the idea that we're very fortunate to have the Bible in English and lots of different translations. Many people don't have the Bible in any language that they can understand easily. So Wycliffe Bible Translators' aim is to enable people to read or listen to or engage with God in the Bible through the Bible in their own language.
Fantastic. Do you know if I'm just bringing this on you? How close are you to finishing the task of having the Bible, or even maybe just the New Testament, in sort of every language in the world?
Well, that's difficult to say because it's in some ways it's like painting the fourth bridge, that thing that you get to the end and you have to start again, because language doesn't stop changing. So even for those people who've got Bibles in their language, you have to think about revising them and bringing them up to date. But there's many people in the world who don't have the whole Bible in their language. I think it's something like 1.5 billion. They're still waiting for the whole Bible. Many languages, we've just got New Testaments. Many people. I can't tell you how many people offhand, but still quite a lot.
So you guys were based in West Africa for a number of years, but the last few years you've actually been based back here in Ipswich, studying away, and you've recently been awarded a PhD.
That's right.
So you're a Dr. Tim David, is that right?
I am. That's correct.
Congratulations. And what was the subject that you were studying in?
Just to correct you to start with, I've been studying, but Maggie hasn't. Maggie's been doing other work. So.
Right.
Though she'd quite like to do some further study at some point.
Okay.
But yes, as you say, I've just recently completed a PhD. You see, I've up here, and it was a PhD in linguistics.
Right.
And the title of my thesis was A Grammar of Mankanya, which is the language that we particularly work with in Senegal. So linguistics is like a basic foundation for translation.
Right.
If you think about, you sort of think that a translator, if they can speak their language well, they can translate well, but that's not necessarily the case. If you think about your own language, about English, there's if I said, well, what's the difference between would you open the window and could you open the window, then you'd have to think hard what the difference is. And not everyone agrees on that difference, depending on your dialect and things like that. So it's good to get translators to think about the structures of their language. Right. So that's why I do linguistics as part of the Bible translation.
Right. And how's that going to be used in Mankanyan speaking regions? Because you're saying 1.5 billion people still need to have the Bible in their own language, and then you sort of take 4 or 5 years out to do a PhD. How does that work? How does that feed into the big picture?
I mean, it's a good question, really. Well, in terms of the actual specific PhD, it's not actually very accessible to Mankanya people, because most Mankanya people, if they're educated, speak French, and it was written in English.
Right.
But it's a contribution to the larger academic work about the languages of Senegal, which helps inform translation in other languages too. in terms of my particular why it's important for me, and one was it enables me to have a broader overview of language, because though it's a very specific subject, I had to do reading of other things and trying to see what up-to-date linguistic thinking was. So in that sense, it gave me more breadth and depth. But also in terms of, particularly when you're working in Africa, letters after your name are quite important.
Right.
And for credibility. So when I was working in Africa, sometimes I'd go along to the university, because we try and work with university linguists. And they respected me for my experience, but I didn't have any, well, I had some letters after my name, but they were just, BSc rather than something greater than that.
So now you have letters in front of your name as well, and that'll give you kind of academic credibility and
credibility. That's right.
So what happens now that you've achieved all this? Now that you are Dr. Tim Gavin, what happens next? You're going to swan around with the academic elite.
Well, that's right. No, that's right. Well, I mean, it's always an important part of our work is to stay connected with the academic world, because and we work for Wycliffe Bible Translators, but when we're in Africa, we're with our partner organization, which is called SIL. And SIL, in fact, has given a massive contribution to the academic world, and people recognize us for that. And that gives us, enables us to better do the work of translation in other places when people have heard of SIL. Right. So that's one aspect. So I will still try and keep up academic links. But in terms of my work now, I'm now working for the part of SIL that specializes in Ivory Coast.
Right.
So I'm helping a language there called Neo. They've recently started the translation, but they haven't really worked out how to write their language properly yet. Their language is interesting because, like a lot of African languages, the melody of a word, the tone of a word is significant. So that two words can be different just about whether you say it high or whether you say it low. Not quite like that, but you get the idea. So then you've got to decide how the best way of writing that is. So that's one thing I'm doing. I'm also helping other people do other work. Like I'm still helping some of my colleagues in Senegal. One of them has just written about how sentences are put together in speeches and sermons and things like that, so that in the particular language they're working in, so that they can then better translate the epistles.
Okay.
Because it's one thing to translate a story, like the Gospels. It's another thing to translate the epistles, and to try and get the logical structure right in a way that's correct for the language you're working in.
Right.
So I'm helping him with that paper. So all sorts of things. Hopefully I'll be able to go to Ivory Coast again soon, but at the moment I can't. I'm stuck here in England.
I was going to say, it's hard even to travel inside England, let alone beyond it. So
exactly, that's right.
That's good. Brilliant. Well, congratulations, Tim, and
thank you very much.
We shall continue to pray and support you and Maggie.
Thank you very much. We very much appreciate it. Thank you.